Got it. I got it. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to our monthly players call. Hope everyone is doing fantastic. Tonight's topic is dealing with the stress of recruiting, but the topic is appropriate for everybody. So whether you're 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s, and 18s, it's a conversation that all of us can have. So we can talk about what we're experiencing or what we may experience in the future. As always, to get this call going, we appreciate that you're spending your time with us, and we always want to know where you're joining us from. So do me a favor, put in the chat. It's an interactive call. Put in the chat not only the state that you're in, but the team that you play for, right? So the team that you play for and the state that you're in. Let us know. Give your team a shout out. Who do you play for? Where are you at? And remember, as always, to mute your phones and your computers. And a simple reminder to some of you that like to get too interactive. I don't think I'm showing any slides tonight, but don't draw on our screens. Love it when we see shots of like the families kind of gathering in the box. So these conversations are really relevant to everyone, right? Remember, with firecracker training, we're offering opinions, we're sharing experiences, and we're making the recipe for success and happiness, according to us, available for all of you. Certainly not going to force you to use that recipe. All right, looking good. I see him coming in, and it's good. I don't think I've asked for your teams before. That's great. Keep them coming. And we're up to 75. All right, next call, next question. Thanksgiving coming up, and the obvious question would be, what's your favorite dish? But that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you, are there any unusual dishes that you know you're going to see at Thanksgiving? Sometimes it's like grandma's recipe or someone like something that's been in the family for 75 years. So are there any dishes that you're going to see? I'm not going to say that you may be forced to eat, but anything different, anything outside of like turkey, mashed potatoes, and stuffing and gravy? Put it in the chat. Broccoli casserole sounds interesting. Tacos, hey, there you go. I relate to that. Mac and cheese, kind of a sweet potato pie, unusual. Grandma's grape salad. Okay. A 3-layer pumpkin pie. Is that 3 of the same layers? Potato scallops or scalloped potatoes? I get it. All right. Homemade noodles, cranberry jello salad. Sounds common. Chicken pozole. All right, I see ya. Pork fried rice. Very interesting. Pecan pie. Fried turkey. Ooh, that's an art. Hopefully somebody's like really good at that, because that sounds dangerous to me. The ever famous tamales, starting from Thanksgiving all the way through. I don't know how many of you helped make the tamales, but that was a big part of my childhood. Awesome. All right, so you've got the hang of it. All right, every now and then I might ask you to give me a thumbs up too, but I'm going to ask you this now. On a scale from 1 to 10. So for a lot of us, we just finished our fall season. Some of you still have a couple more weeks. Maybe you're going to be playing in December, but for the most part, most of us have finished our fall season, finished with what we call the pre-Thanksgiving tournament. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being awesome, great, fabulous. On a scale from 1 to 10, how good or great has your fall been, or not good or great? Scale from 1 to 10, 10 being awesome, 1 being, oh boy, sometimes I wonder if I should have played another sport. That's just because the game is tough sometimes. All right, 10, 10, 8, 7s, 9s, good. All right, good. 10 sounds like, all right, sounds like we're doing pretty good. Excellent. Just making sure we don't have to like, a couple of 10s. Excellent. Beautiful. All right. So for those of you that answered there, answer me this. What made it so good? Most of you are giving really good numbers, right? So what made your fall so good? Is it your personal performance? Is it your team? Was it your season? Was it winning? My teammates? I love that. More teammates. I love it. Coaches. Hey, shout out for coaches. My team and coaches. Remember, coaches, we are experience creators, not just content creators. Excellent. Good. And a lot of good teammate answers. Okay. Next question. I'm going to ask for a thumbs up on your screen on this one now, because I see a lot of young faces, right? So you youngins, stay with me on this one, right? But how many of you are in the middle of your recruiting process? So you're still uncommitted and in the middle of the recruiting process. Give me a thumbs up either in the chat or on your screen. If you're in the middle of your recruiting process, if you relate to the normal stress of recruiting. Got a lot of young ones on. Excellent. Good. Because talking about the pressures of recruiting isn't just for high school age players in the recruiting process. It's really something that all of us should be talking about. And especially for those of you that are on the younger end of things, this is good because you're going to feel prepared. You're going to listen to tonight's conversation. We have a special guest with us tonight, and you're going to know that you're trained and that you're informed and educated on how to handle the stress of recruiting. We talk about the stress of recruiting, you know, we're also talking about just stress of softball in general. All right. Okay. So here we go. As most of you know, I am a man of many analogies. So I like to use a lot of different comparisons and examples so we can kind of take a look at how it is that we're looking at ourselves as softball people, right? So coaches, parents, and players. Okay. How many of you, well, let me show you a picture first. When I show you this picture, I want to know in the chat, how many of you would be nervous or get excited if you were in this picture? And I'll show you what I mean right now. When you see a picture of that stage, do you get excited to be on stage or do you get nervous to be on stage? How would you feel? Write that in the chat for me. Let me see what I'm working with here. Excited or nervous to be on that stage with people watching you? Oh my gosh. You guys know this. People watch you every single weekend. All right. So how do we feel? Let's see how we're doing this. Ooh, I like it. A lot of boths. Okay, I'm just scrolling through the answers. A mix of both. Nervous, both. Excited, nervous, both. Nervous, bothering. Okay, I get you. I think I know what you mean. Hold on, there's a little bug flying around here. All right, nervous, both. Excited, both. Because really being nervous and being excited are pretty close. They're pretty close to the same. Okay, so next question. When we're nervous, as opposed to being excited, why is that? What are we nervous about? Why are we nervous? Is it fear of something? Why are we nervous? Are we nervous because we're uncertain? Are we uncertain about something? So, and even if this isn't you, maybe it's your teammates, right? Why are you nervous? Messing up. I don't want to mess up. Underperforming. Messing up. Parents, coaches, if you're reading this, this is a reality that we deal with. And the great news tonight is that no matter what level of player your player is, or that you are as a player, whether you're developing and just learning, and you're making a lot of mistakes that others don't make, or you're a high level player and you have a lot of expectations on you, how do you deal with those expectations? All right. I've got the hang of that. I got an idea. Okay. So let's create some perspective now on nervous and being excited, but then also where are we going to get our confidence from? How many of you Okay, you don't have to answer this, okay? So just to yourself, right? How many of you know how to swim? If you know how to swim, just give me a thumbs up like this on your screen for those of you that are on the screen. How many of you know how to swim? All right. So for those of you that know how to swim, and I want you to answer this in the chat. So if you know how to swim, answer this in the chat. Are you afraid of drowning? For those of you that know how to swim, are you afraid of drowning? And for those of you watching the chat, just look at the answers. Knowing how to swim doesn't mean you will never be nervous or anything, but if you look at the answers, most of them are no. So for those of you that said, no, I'm not afraid of drowning, why are you not afraid? The answer is very simple. Why are you not afraid of drowning? You know how to swim. Okay, there it is right there. Gianna just put it. I know how to swim. I'm a good swimmer. I trust myself. I believe in myself because we already know how to swim. I'm less likely to drown because I know how to swim, because I know I won't sink. I'm confident about it. I hope you dads and parents are picking up where I'm going with this. Swimming since I was 6. Oh, that's perfect right there, Alexis. Thank you. Because how many of you have been playing softball since you were 6? A lot of you, right? Most of you. Okay. Don't answer this in the chat now. I'm going to ask you another question. All right. So you know that you're not going to drown. You know how to swim. What if you were walking by a pool and one of your friends pushed you in the pool? So it kind of startled you. It kind of scared you. Next thing you know, you're in the water. Do you freak out and think that you're going to drown? No, because you have to recognize, uh-oh, but I know how to swim. So the first thing you do is you start remembering what you've been taught. Okay, what about this? What if there were 20 people around the pool that saw you get pushed in the pool? They didn't know that you knew how to swim, and 20 people went, oh no, she may drown. Somebody save her. Are you worried now about you're not going to be able to swim, or do you still know you know how to swim? You still know you know, right? Not worried, not worried, not worried, not worried. You still know. Okay, these are the analogies and comparisons that I need you to understand, because that's where the trust on that stage. When I showed you the picture of the stage, look at the stage like the pool, except now you have people outside the pool watching you, but they're watching you do something that you know how to do. And so parents and coaches on this call, if you saw the answers of why are we nervous, because we don't want to underperform, we don't want to mess up, we don't want to disappoint, but nobody said that when they were worried about not swimming. In fact, all of them said, I'm not worried about that because I know how to swim. We, all of us loving people, made this game really complicated for a lot of different reasons that I won't get into. It takes too long, but all well-intended reasons. Nobody's trying to make the world harder for you ladies, but sometimes trying isn't it. You have to know, you have to be educated. I've used this analogy before. I could volunteer to fly your plane because I don't want you to miss that next tournament. And I really care for you and I love you all, but I haven't been trained how to fly a plane. So I'm well-intended and I'm willing to step forward and volunteer my time and fly your plane. But please tell me you're not going to get in that plane with Coach Tony because you know I'm not trained. Now, I'm not saying this, don't play softball on teams or with people that aren't professionally trained, because guess what, girls, there's not many people that are professionally trained, which is why we have so much stress. In fact, the way that I used analogy, the way I used swimming as an analogy, as a comparison, as an example, parents and coaches, step outside of softball and use your job that you go to daily for years, that you know like the back of your hand, as an example of the confidence that you have and why you want to help be better for your daughter so she can realize the confidence that she should already have because she's been playing this game since she was 6. And I don't care if you're 10 years old on this call, you've been playing 4 years. You have experience. All right, next question. Give me a thumbs up in the chat or on the screen. How many of you know how to ride a bike? All right, so most, if not all of you, know how to ride a bike. Did you have to take extra lessons 2 years after you learned how to ride a bike to relearn how to ride a bike? Do you have to continue to learn how to ride a bike? No, you don't. You learn once. If you don't ride a bike for 10 years, are you worried that you forgot how to ride a bike? I don't know how many of you have heard this, but they say it's like riding a bike. You never forget. And if you think about it, if for some reason, probably if you had bike riding coaches always telling you, put your arms here, pedal like this, sit like this, lower your head, well, then you probably would be thinking too much and you might crash and then hurt yourself because you're not even watching the road, right? Riding a bike is getting on it, but then getting where you need to go. Okay, no answers on this question. How many of you play ping pong? Have played ping pong before? Have you ever played ping pong? Hopefully it's a fun game. Did you take lessons? No. Did you need to take lessons in order to play ping pong? No. Could you just have fun playing ping pong? In fact, think about it. Maybe that's why ping pong is more fun, because we're just playing. What's another sport? So think of something in the chat. What's another game that you play with your friends, your family? Could be a video game, could be any type of game in the back, anything. What's another game that we play that's competitive, but we don't have to take lessons and we don't have to think about how we're doing. We just do it, even if we're good or we're not good. Look at you guys go, right? Kickball, twister, cards, badminton, the pool. Hello. You can take swimming lessons though, right? Unless you stay in the shallow end. Board games, Monopoly, putt-putt. Not sure what that is. Cornhole. Thank you. I was thinking of that one. All right. All right. So let's go with cornhole. This is relating to now all of you pitchers or anytime that any of you throw a ball like to first base or to a base. All right. If you throw the bag, toss the bag in cornhole and you're short of the hole, you throw it too short on the first throw. What do you do on the second throw? Go ahead and put that in the chat. If you're short of the hole in cornhole on the first throw, what do you do on the second? Oh, look at that. Too far. Throw it farther. Throw it farther. Throw it harder. Overthrow it. Miss on the other side. All right, for all of you pitchers that miss too high with your changeup and then go, I'm releasing it too late. Or all of you that bounce your changeup and go, I'm releasing it too early. You don't do that in cornhole. You just throw it farther. Pitching, you just throw it higher. Now, if we didn't have all the success that we've had and we didn't have the firecracker success, somebody should be listening to this guy going, who is this guy? Like, this is not how you play softball. It can't be this simple. Fire this Tony Rico, because he's not talking about keep the shoulder in, stay on plane, give me a 27-degree launch angle. How would you like it if you were playing cornhole and somebody watched you throw the ball and go, her arm is flexing at 13 degrees. So if you want to play cornhole, you have to flex your arm between 12 and 14 degrees every time you throw. Does that make you want to play? No. I love you guys so much for continuing to play softball when you have so many people going, keep your hands up, keep your shoulder in, don't roll over, you're overstriding. Oh no, you messed up in front of college coaches. Oh no, you let grandma beat you in cornhole. Look at the comparisons. Ladies, perspective, okay? Perspective. We have the power inside our minds, and this is crazy power because nobody in softball is doing this outside of these calls, to turn softball into a game, to celebrate and cheer for your player, for your teammate, when she pops one ball up and then on the next at bat, she hits a ground ball. Celebrate when your teammate takes one strike, one at bat, or maybe took 2 strikes and struck out, and the next at bat, she swings twice early and hits foul balls, but you're cheering for her because she made an adjustment. Celebrate the way you play this game. because that's how you deal with stress. And when you go back to this picture, when there are college coaches watching you, and for those of you in the recruiting game right now, you and your coaches have to write these college coaches to put them in those seats. Just throw the beanbag. Just hit the tennis, the ping pong ball. Just swing the bat. Just make the play. We are in the stands to watch you play ping pong, kickball, twister, putt-putt, and softball. It's the same. We are there to watch you do something that you love. If Coach Tony ever watches you online, any of your clips at a tournament, I'm not there to be happy with you only if you play well, to make the firecrackers look good. I am there to tell you that I support you and that I love you and that I'm just happy to see you play, and I'm appreciative of you playing in a firecracker uniform, and that hopefully you remember some of the simple things that we do to be successful at this game. And I'll go into some of those simple ingredients that we've talked about before. And then I'm going to get to our special guests, because I see you, Jazz. All right, so let me find my little notes here. So we've complicated things, but if you are taking notes, I want you to write this sentence down. Take notes in your phone, write it down wherever, right? But this is now the difference between being able to thrive under pressure. You thrive under pressure because you know you are trained. So the words is trained versus untrained. Am I a trained player? And you all are. I'll point that out in a minute. Versus untrained. Do I know how to swim or do I not know how to swim? Because if I don't know how to swim, yeah, I should probably panic if I fall in the pool. I should probably panic a little bit if I'm in the batter's box and I don't know how to hold the bat. The key to this sport is this right here. And this is going to sound funny for some of you that maybe don't deal with a lot of stress yet. At some point you will. Keep it calm. Stay calm. Stay relaxed. Earlier, when I used the analogy of somebody pushing you in the pool without you knowing, you're not going to be calm. You're going to freak out because you're going to go, what the heck just happened? Now I'm in the pool. You recognize that and you calm yourself down. I'll get to that part here in a minute. Keep it calm. Keep it simple. So when you catch yourself talking on and on and on about body parts, about things that you talk about at your lessons, about all the things and the components of the skill work of how to throw and field, catch yourself when you're not keeping it simple. Listen to every major leaguer when they give an interview. Every answer is simple. It's your ability to recognize stress, calm down, and keep things simple. I wish all of you could have known Coach Normie, but one of the ways that we keep people that are no longer here alive is we remember the things that they gave us. Coach Normie joined the Angels a few years ago, and I don't mean the Anaheim Angels, I mean the up above Angels, but we talk about the things that he taught us all the time. I wear a bracelet on my wrist that says, keep it calm and simple, because these are the keys to recognizing your training so that you could swim, so that you can play. So you've got to recognize when you're stressed. You've got to recognize when you feel nervous. And then you've got to apply your mind right away, just like you're jumping into the pool, and go, I know how to do this. So, okay, Coach Tony, what do we do? You're telling me to keep it calm. You're telling me to keep it simple, but now what? Next, write the word breathe. B-R-E-A-T-H-E, breathe. When you feel uncomfortable, your job as a player, just like jumping in the pool, your job is to recognize you're not comfortable. Too many players play this game and they don't pay attention to their feelings and their discomfort. Then they try to make decisions on what they swing at, or they try to make a play, but your heart rate's beating fast. Your mind's going fast because that's what stress does. Stress in softball is a good thing, girls. It's not a bad thing. It's just not good when you're not trained to handle stress. Stress is like the gate, the front door to get to all of the skills that you know how to work with. So if you don't handle stress at the front door, stress comes in your house and you can't perform the simplest skills. And you all know what I'm talking about. That's the great part about softball. This is a tough game to play. So number one is breathe. Number two is have a plan. So pitching and hitting are the two highest stress points, right? Stress positions. But the plan for hitting is get a good pitch. You want to be a great hitter. You want a high batting average. You want the best college coach in the country to love you. Swing at good pitches. Please don't take this the wrong way. I'll say it nicely. Your training could be advanced when you talk less about how you swing the bat and more about what you wanted to do with the bat. So instead of talking about what your body parts did, flying open, rolling over, pulling off the ball, talk about your pitch selection. That's perspective. So your plan is to get a good pitch. Now, after the at bat, ask your teammate. If you hit a little ground ball, ask your teammate, was that pitch a good pitch? By the way, what's a good pitch? You might want to write this down. Thigh high, waist high. If you get a pitch, thigh high or waist high, the ball goes bye-bye. Pitchers, when you put a pitch, thigh high or waist high, the ball goes bye-bye. You're not a bad pitcher. You didn't do badly. You just made a mistake. You put the ball in the wrong spot, because that's where hitters hit the ball the hardest. Keep it simple, right? This is all true. Talk about the game like this. So your plan, get a good pitch to hit. As a pitcher, hit my spot. Trust my pitch and put the pitch where I want to put it. What am I trying to do to the batter? Not what do I hope I don't do? Oh, I hope I don't walk the leadoff batter. Oh, I hope I don't throw ball one because my coach yells at me every time I fall behind in the count. Okay, that's fine. Your coach is the guy next to the pool screaming at you. You still know how to swim. You still know how to throw the ball farther, like in cornhole. Just don't miss outside 3 times in a row with your curveball, because that's like, again, that's making the same mistake over and over. I can't save you very long from emotional coaches if you make the same mistake over and over and over. Make different mistakes. So after we have a plan, we try to execute the plan, and then we adjust. So after we have a plan, we adjust. I just took a good swing, and I hit the bottom of the ball. All right, this is a question for you to put in the chat now. You just took a good swing. You hit the bottom of the ball. What's the adjustment on your next swing? You just took a swing. You hit the bottom of the ball. What's the adjustment on the next swing? Look at the top. Hit the top of the ball. Try to hit the top. Try to miss over. Identify the pitch. Keep the hand level. Get on top. Aim for the top. See, I've got you all in a really good state of mind right now. Now, for all of you that are writing this, get on top, get on the top, get on top. How many times have you said, I dropped my shoulder? Because when you say I dropped my shoulder, you're looking at what you did wrong. You're not thinking of the solution. Remember, swing higher is the adjustment. That's the solution. Be a solution-based player. Even if you don't get the answer right, you don't actually swing higher. You knew that what you wanted to do. That's what makes you a professional player. That's what makes you a trained player. When I talk to college coaches, I don't expect players to hit every ball hard in the batting cage. When a player hits the ball on the ground in the batting cage, I tell the college coach, watch, she's going to hit under on the next one. If you pull a ball to the pull side, I say, watch, she's going to hit the next one to the opposite field. because we make adjustments like this in the batting cage and on the field as well. It doesn't matter the problem, whether you're hitting or pitching. Swing higher, swing lower, swing earlier, swing later. Throw higher, throw lower, throw it outside, throw it more inside. Keep it simple, keep it calm. Trained versus untrained, trained, the highest level of training doesn't talk about what is wrong because we're only stating the circumstance. There's a gray wall behind me with white writing on it. Okay? Thank you. There's no solution. It looks drab. Let's put a brighter color on it. We're going to go with Robin Ferris pink. If you don't know Robin Ferris, she's the one that takes care of all of your coaches with their equipment needs and their crazy questions, along with Sue Wester. And I'm crazy coach number 1, so I know what that's like. All right. Makes sense? If you don't know you're trained, how are you going to step on that stage and be anything but nervous? If you know you're trained, you're going to step on this stage every single time, and you're going to tell yourself, I've done the work. Behind that curtain, your heart rate might go really fast, like a lot of entertainers do, and you're going to breathe deep behind that curtain. You're going to breathe deep in between pitches. You're going to breathe deep in the dugout before you step back out on that field. That field is your stage. That field is your friend. This is a place that you've trained for. Whenever you step on that field, ladies, whenever you step on that stage, you think, you act, you talk, and you walk like you're trained. It would make no sense for you to be in that pool and scream that you think you're going to drown, and someone says, move your arms and legs like you've been taught and swim. Because it wouldn't be very helpful if somebody said, well, it looks like you're going underwater and you can't hold your breath very long and you're probably going to drown. That's really not solution-based, is it? All right, so getting specifically now into recruiting and the stress of recruiting, parents and coaches and recruiting players, it's the same thing. Follow your training. You are sitting in the stands with a lot of untrained people. You can choose to listen to them. You can choose to listen to the other people that are in the pool that have never had swimming lessons, because eventually they will drown emotionally. They worry about everything. And the only thing that escapes their worry is maybe one hit or one good game or one scholarship, but it's short term, because then there's always something else to worry about, because it's their perspective. The lack of training has given them a perspective that they're not at peace. Recruiting is exciting and, yes, nerve-wracking. Do not keep score with other players in recruiting. Do not compare yourself to other players that verbaled before you did. When you catch yourself doing that, catch yourself in the pool, not moving your arms, laying there thinking of all the wrong things, and you are going back and forth underwater and back up above water. Don't talk about things and give them power that you can't control, and don't do the wonder whys. 99.5% of you go to college. The scariest part, as Jasmine's going to help us with here in a second, is you don't know where and you don't know when. When you see your friends commit to schools, or you see players on other teams commit to schools, and you may have the confidence in yourself that you're better than that player, and you're like, how come they got that and we didn't get that? Maybe we're on the wrong team. We need to go to another firecracker team. We need to go to another organization. Play the game the right way. Take your video clips on your phone, put 6-second clips on your Instagram, create an Instagram just for your recruiting, so that we don't have to, no offense, but college coaches appreciate somewhere knowing your dog's name and what you had for dinner last night. But college coaches want to click on your link and see home run, double, triple, home run, right? They don't want to see right away a ground ball up the middle. They don't want to see a base hit by the third baseman. They want to see something that makes them want to watch another 6-second clip. If you're joining our recruiting services, great, use them. If you don't have the money for the recruiting services or anything expensive, don't worry about it. Use your phone, take clips with your phone, delete it if she doesn't swing at a good pitch. Keep it when you swing at a good pitch. Upload that highlight onto YouTube or your Instagram. Those are free. For you young ones, 10s and 12s, keep this in mind because I don't know where recruiting is going to be for you in 2 or 3 years. And if you don't have an Instagram yet, you know what it is and you know what I'm talking about. We've got one of our alumni, Jasmine Contreras, on the phone with us. She played on the call with us. She played for, I'm just going to say, one of my favorites, Daniel Schneider. And he's one of my favorites because anybody who's a good person that does things for others and makes them feel good. So I could have a million favorite people, but favorite because he just treats people right and he makes his players feel right. And his team has had to work for everything they've had to do. So Jasmine, you're on the call with us. Can you hear me? Are you unmuted?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So I am, hopefully you guys can see Jazz. She's on the call. So Jazz, I'm going to walk through a little bit of your story, right? So you relate to you're now in college, right?
Yes.
Okay. So where are you going to school? Tell us where you're at, what school and where's it at?
I go to the University of the Incarnate Word in San Antonio, Texas.
And you are from
California.
California. All right. Do you relate, when you were in the recruiting process, do you relate to that stress?
Yeah, it was honestly like I feel like the stress of recruiting is just like so much like just pressure, and like I feel like you don't realize it until like maybe like you're done with recruiting how much pressure you were under the whole time.
And the pressure is real, right?
Yes.
But it also can put you into state to where you're not swimming on the field. So if the field is your pool and you know how to swim, can the pressure be so great that you step on the field and you forget how to swim?
I don't know about forget how to swim, but like definitely for me, like I recruited very late in my process. So like I feel like I was always thinking like, oh, like I have to do like I can't make an error, I can't strike out, like I have to do 100% good all the time. And like that was very stressful for me.
When did you start your recruiting process? 8th, 9th grade?
I started my recruiting process, yeah, probably
Like
around,
writing schools and stuff.
yeah.
So as it goes into 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then you see some of your teammates and other people verbal, right? What was that like? Put even more pressure on you?
Yeah, it was really hard for me to see other people committing around me. And like, of course, I'm happy for them, but it was just hard because you're like, you want to be where they're at. And like, sometimes like you don't understand why you're not there. And so that was like, I feel like that just like added like a whole different level of pressure.
So you question yourself, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Jazz, does it make sense to you why I use the pool analogies in the swimming? Because if we don't compare it to something else, we kind of can get lost in softball, right? So you got to come back and realize that you do know how to play this game, right? And so it took a little longer. Part of the reason why when Daniel and I spoke is why we wanted you on this call is because you did have to wait longer. Because if there's uncommitted players, there's uncommitted seniors, you already know what their worst fear is and what the worst part of the emotion is, right? So how did recruiting happen for you? Like at what point in your high school career did it take place? And how did it actually happen to where you found your school?
Yeah. So I went into my senior summer uncommitted, and everybody always has that little bit of hope, but I had kind of like was coming to the realization that like maybe college wasn't, there for me. But I had a lot of people around me, like you said, Coach Daniel being like one of the most like supportive people like ever. Like he always had my back and like my family. And we played an alliance that year, and it's actually crazy because my coach was going to watch a different team play at my field, and there was like a field switch that they didn't tell her about. And so she still went to that field and my team was playing, and um she talked to me after the game, and I talked to her on Monday. I met her on Monday, and I committed to the school on Thursday.
Now you
So
say senior summer. That's not
yeah,
before your senior year.
no, it was like I was going into my fall of college. Like,
Okay. And that's why it's so important that the families on this call, when they listen to other families comparing, well, so and so's, and then the math of like, well, this school's giving out all their money, or this school's this, and people start listening to all this. The wheel of recruiting never stops, people. It never stops. There's always an opening. There's always an opening for value. It's just crazy. So even if there's less openings, there's always openings. So you played in front of her, and then you met her on a Monday and
yes,
committed on Thursday.
yes.
So what did she like about you?
I She told me that she liked my fielding, and I feel like I've always been really confident with that. So like that kind of felt good. And then yeah, so I met her on a Monday. She like told me to apply to the school if I was interested, and of course I was. And so I applied and I talked to them. Like I think I called them like all 4 days. Like I was talking to them for like an hour every day, just trying to get a feel for the school because everything was happening really fast. And I thought it was the right fit for me, and so far it has been. So yeah.
So we talk about recruiting being a roller coaster ride. Boy, you got one big dip right there at the end and then landed in San Antonio,
Yeah.
right? And so, boy, what a relief, right? Big weight off your shoulders. Um, what ed You mentioned something about your fielding. So do you think it's important for our players to know what it is that they do best and make sure that they take pride in that part of their game? Because sometimes it's energy, right? Sometimes it's the way they communicate. So if you're fast, make sure you're running fast. If you have a great arm, when you guys are warming up, make sure you're throwing the ball hard, right? Whatever it is, the best part of your game, make sure you own that, because go back to that picture of that stage. That's what I want to see. I want to see what you do best, right? So confidence in your fielding always, Jazz?
Yeah, like I think it's definitely like you need to know what you're where you're strong at, because I'm personally more of like a conservative player. Like I'm just kind of, get in there, get my work done. But I feel like going into my senior summer, I was just kind of like, I'm of course gonna take it serious, but I'm really gonna have fun. Like these could be my last few weeks playing softball, and I've been playing it for my whole life, so I'm gonna have fun. And I feel like during Alliance, I showed like a lot of emotion and intensity, and like that has carried on now into college. And I like that's something that my coaches really like about me. So like I think showing emotion while you play is like such like an important part of the game.
Awesome. So what advice do you have to reassure all of our players that it's going to happen? Because if you think about it, you can't think of too many players that didn't go to school somewhere, right? There's always an opportunity. It's just a scary roller coaster ride. So what can you say to our uncommitted, but even more so if there's an uncommitted senior family, because it's the beginning of their senior year right now, and you still didn't commit till like next August or the end of next July, right? So what can you tell them to reassure them with just the fact that it's truth and not just hopeful, like hoping in general, right? What could you tell them?
Yeah, I think like just like the like moral of I feel like my story and like my journey was just like to never give up, because I could have easily went into my senior summer and like just kind of like, don't really care, nothing's gonna happen. I could have very easily done that. But I think keeping a positive mindset and just like having people around you who are supporting you no matter what is very important. And just to like know that you're good, like know that you're good enough to go to college. And like if you're I feel like if you're doubting that, like you shouldn't be, because like obviously like you've been playing for your whole life. Like there's somewhere for you. And I feel like you just have to remember that there's somewhere for you. There's some, like even your senior summer, there's still coaches recruiting. There's still somebody looking for what you have. And I feel like it's always important to keep that in mind.
I would ask our players that are taking notes that that's the last thing they write down for this session, is that there is somewhere for me. I don't care if you're 10, 12, 14, 16, your senior year, there is some place for me. If you dream about going to a big school and you're younger right now and you're going to those camps, and at some point that big school decides to look in another direction, it doesn't mean you wasted time. Your dream of going to that big school is why you practice. It's why you keep playing. It's why you do all these things. And if your dream takes a left-hand turn, listen, that's the story of life for like most people. Very few people accomplish their dreams perfectly the way they hope. Is it's always something a little bit different. So keep that in mind, because you're going to be facing those fears of, I'm going to drown. No one's going to want me, right? It's going to pass me up. And those are real feelings, just like being scared in the pool, but you have to go back and know that you're trained. Okay, Jasmine, thank you. I see your boss man on the call right now. Oh, I got one more call for you. So one more question. You just finished or finishing up your freshman fall semester?
Yes.
So a semester or quarter school? Quarter.
It's a semester.
Semester. So what's your fall freshman year been like so far for you?
It's been a really fun getting to know like my teammates, like because my roster like at my school is kind of big, so I have a lot of friends. But it's been really fun, just kind of like, I don't know, like I'm living out like my dream that I thought wasn't gonna happen for me. And so like I'm just so grateful to be here. And I just like love doing it. Like we have to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning for practice, but like I love being there. So like it's, you know, I love being here, and it's been amazing.
And nobody makes you like wake up. You can hit your snooze 5 times if you want. You're just going to pay the price or show up late to wait. So we know you don't want to do that. But when you're at school, nobody to make you do anything. Everything's based on your own choice to create your own schedule. So managing your time is usually one of the most sharp skills that you develop, is time management, right? Because you got a lot of things going on. So Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to ask your boss man, Mr. Daniel, Coach Daniel, to hop on. And Daniel, just what could you share with parents, coaches, players that are in the process, because you've earned every bit of success that you've had with your ball team. So what reassurance could you give for people on this call that, again, might have felt like they're sitting next to too many untrained people, but what can you offer them?
Well, first of all, I did not have my camera on, Jazz, because you already know what I was doing the whole time you were talking.
He's a big softy, girls. He's having a moment. It's a big, strong guy that does push-ups every time that he gets excited. And then if you touch his heart, this is what makes Coach Daniel one of my favorites, right? All right. Come on, Dan. You got it. Come on.
Yeah,
you got it.
Hey, you are not helping right now. Come on, man. So anyways, first of all, Jazz, man, I am so proud of how you articulate yourself. What I will say, your analogy, Tony, is spot on, man. And you're always so good with these analogies, man, because the whole swimming thing, I think going into the Alliance, I knew the pressure that Jazz was under. She was arguably our best defender, hands down. But it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working out. And she was dealing with all those challenges and stress. I knew that. It was very pressure packed for me. Because I loved her so much and I wanted her to be so successful and get her dreams and all that. But it just was that we were just hitting block walls. And I think what she said, and I'm super glad she said it and I didn't, but Jazz was always an introvert. I tried to pull it out of her as much as I could for many, many years. And at the Alliance, she was just a different player. And I think what it was is that it wasn't her skill set was different. I think she literally, like she said, she just was swimming. She was just playing. She was playing, having a good time, very emotional. And then it just happened. And that coach came to the wrong field, like she said. And then she contacted them for those 4 days. And then we actually had our last game. And I love this story too, Jazz. So I was going to tell it too. We had our last game. We left. We all did our crying. We all were like, see you guys later. We left. We went to a pizza place to get pizza, and Jazz goes outside. And we're like, where's Jazz? And then all of a sudden her parents are gone, whatever. Stop it. You're going to make it worse. So Jazz walks into the pizza place bawling. So you already know what I'm going to do. So I stand up bawling. I think we scared the entire restaurant. And Jazz was like, I'm committed. And we lost our marbles. It was like such a special thing. And I'm super glad that you got to share this, Jazz. Because there's a lot of girls that are going to learn from you. Because it's crazy stressful. I'm dealing with all these 24s right now that are driving me crazy because they're all stressed out again. So you already know how that is, Jazz. And I know you're coming home this week, so you'll get to see us all. But all you girls just have to really listen to what she said. There's a place for you. There is. No matter where you are in life, no matter what you want to do, there's going to be a day where someone's going to say, I want you, and you're going to go. And wherever you end up is where you're supposed to end up. Like I had dreams of playing at certain schools, and I didn't go, and then I went to certain schools, and everything happened for a reason. I went to a school and I didn't play, and I wasn't good enough, and I couldn't hit a slider, and I was like, oh, this is over. And then I ended up finding my way in a different sport, men's slow pitch softball, that gave me all the connections in the world. So wherever you end up is where you're going to be, and it's where you're supposed to be. So just enjoy it. And I know it's super corny because I did not believe in this for the last maybe 2 years. And then this last couple of years, I really believed when Tony was like, trust this process. It was hard to trust this process when you don't know. But now that I've seen it work with these girls and with Jazz, she's the epitome of trusting the process. She literally just went down to the wire, and all she was doing is playing the game that she loves, and she was rewarded for it. And I'm so grateful that she was rewarded for it because she deserves it. And I swear to gosh, I told myself I wasn't going to cry, but I'm super pumped for you, Jazz, and all you girls on this phone call. I apologize for crying, first of all. Second of all, just, realize that, your dreams are going to come true. You just got to be patient and just always do what's right and let God handle the rest. And that's it, Tony. If I got to stop.
Daniel, you're beautiful. I love you. I'm sure everyone here has a certain, and when we say that we love all of you, right? A lot of you, we don't know personally, but we care for you. We love you because you're part of this organization. That's not going to change if you don't stay with the organization. But the hashtag FC culture, the FC family, the FC strong, this is what makes it worth it for us. I mean, we go through years of coaching and different teams and stuff, but every one of you is special. Like it never gets old. So whether it's the first player committing, first player going on, having their first baby, whatever it is, it never gets old though. Like every single one of you is equally special. So I really appreciate, Daniel, you and Jasmine spending time with us. More importantly, all of you that are still on the call, and all of you that are so young and you're still on the call, you're tired, you're wiping your eyes, but you're investing in being a professional softball player. So my heart, like I feel you because these are long calls, but when the information is good, you're investing your time in your training to give yourself an advantage. So thank you so much for staying up on this, because again, sometimes we're showing videos and stuff like that, but today was really just analogies, comparisons, and stories that you got to hear it right from people that are in the middle of it. So catch yourself when you're feeling like you're going to drown. You know how to swim. You know how to play this game. We got you. All of the ingredients that you need for your recruiting, for your skill work, for your happiness are inside the Firecrackers. Firecrackers didn't invent this stuff. We just pass them on to you. Okay. So take advantage of it. Continue to invest in your Firecracker softball school. Follow our Instagram, Firecracker Softball Inc., FC Softball Inc. Follow the Range Pitching Academy if you're a pitcher. Anything and everything you can, our YouTube stuff, because all of it is information designed to help you navigate your lives inside this crazy softball world. All right? All right. Somebody get that man a tissue. All right, everyone. Hey, have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being on this call. We're going to do one more call before Christmas, and we'll make that a special end of the year call. So hopefully we're going to see all of you then. All right. Thank all of you for spending your late night with us tonight, and we'll see you next month. Happy holidays to you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
everyone next time. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome, Big
Thank
Lil.
you.
I see that. All right, you guys have a good one.